Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So look, guys, we got to talk about this, man, as more and more continues to come out about Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, the Mafia, the NBA, and everything in between that's going on. We're going to look at a few things. We're going to look at some warnings that people like Rasheed Wallace, Carmelo Anthony have had in the past. But, also these high-tech X-ray glasses that was apparently used by the Mafia and NBA players to rig games. Now, um, that's interesting that we only hearing about the players, but there's no way to influence the basketball games without the officials. So I'm waiting to see which official. Some are guessing it might be Scott Foster. All the missed calls between him and Tom Dennehy during that time. People haven't forgot about that. They ain't forgot about that. So let's get right into it, guys.
Three of the named defendants are charged for their alleged roles in both schemes. This alleged illegal gambling operation hustled unwitting victims out of tens of millions of dollars and created a financial pipeline for La Cosa Nostra to help fund and facilitate their organized criminal activity. Victims were attracted to play alongside well-known professional athletes and coaches like Chauncey Billups, only to be unknowingly deceived through rigged shuffling machines, fixing the odds in their favor, as alleged, and as you just heard from the U.S. Attorney's Office. This alleged scheme wreaked havoc across the nation, exploiting the notoriety of some and the wallets of many to fund the Italian crime families here in New York.
Now, Carmelo Anthony was on Gilly's show years and years ago, and I want to look back at this clip because he explained somewhat how the NBA and the FBI work together. And so I just want to show that as a point of reference to see why all this stuff is coming out now.
Anyway, long story short, David Stern suspended me out of everybody 15 games. Everybody else got like 6 games, 7 games, shit like that. And I go speak to him like, why you do me like that?
What did he tell you?
Man, your rap sheet.
A rap sheet? Man.
Look.
NBA rap sheet.
Mm-hmm. NBA shit. You want to be in the streets or you want to be in the NBA?
Mm-hmm. This what he told you?
That's what in his office. You want to be in the streets or you want to be in the NBA? You fucking with a corporation now.
Yeah, you doing stop snitching.
You gonna leave that alone. I know who you with. I know where you live at. I know where they live at. I know when you close your eyes. I know when you wake up.
Damn.
So I'm like, and I know what they doing. He's telling me, I know what they doing. Mm-hmm. Either tell them to stop or you got to cut them off. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, damn, like how the fuck? Like that's when I knew NBA was part of the feds.
Mm-hmm. But with the referees, that's why I was just saying, as I got older, I didn't have to do all the cussing or come with attitudes. No, I'm just hitting them with logic now. Like, oh, so y'all got that email last night, huh? Oh, then they flare all up. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I know about y'all email shits. No, let's not forget that. I know about that. But, man, look, it's been an ongoing
you're
war.
Referring to emails from the league with, this is what we discussed in Whistleblower, but emails from the league that are telling the referees to officiate the game in a certain way and against certain players.
Yeah.
And so you were cognizant of that at the time.
Oh, yeah, I was very, because to me, I saw it. And he'll tell you what I always used to say. Y'all making it too obvious.
I thought he was crazy.
Y'all making it too obvious, too blatant. Y'all making it too obvious. Yeah. I said, y'all want the fans to be able to watch the games, but y'all sitting up here calling a lot of these bullshit calls is doing what? Slowing down the game. Y'all want the fans to see the dunks and all that shit. Yeah. So call that shit both ways or don't call that shit at all.
But if you look at, we interviewed Michael Franzese, who's a former capo in the Colombo crime family, who says that he had 2 NBA referees who were not Tim Donaghy on his payroll, as well as NCAA referees. And if you look at the Mafia at that time, it seems like this was just commonplace. There was referees left and right who were using their whistles to influence basketball games. And Donaghy's relationship with Scott Foster is something that we need to investigate today in 2020.
Did you get a chance to talk to Scott Foster and explain the relationship with Tim and Scott Foster?
So Tim and Scott Foster entered the NBA the same year in 1994. They were best friends throughout their 13 years in the NBA. They, during the peak of the scandal, exchanged 134 phone calls.
So you hear Melo talk about how much the NBA knew about him, how he then knew they were working with the feds. You hear She talk about his older age. He's not cursing and going crazy for the text no more. He's hitting them with logic. He knows about the email chain. He knows some things. So it's starting to be some rumblings of things getting out. You hear this man speaking to Dan Patrick talking about, Scott Foster. And that is a person that I would have expected to see, around some of this. He's been a head official for I don't know how long. He's had this weird beef with Chris Paul. And I get to thinking about that. When they show you that graphic of him versus Chris Paul and how Chris Paul barely ever wins any games when he's officiating, that always stuck in my mind. Like, why are they showing us certain officials is stopping certain players from getting wins? And I think we're getting our answer, man. But they're talking about the NCAA too. See, when it hits that, this whole game of basketball is in jeopardy of being exposed, man. And you don't want your sport, like, okay, the sports betting people's winning their parlays and stuff sometimes, and that's cool. They feel more involved, but you don't want it to become something that nobody's interested in. And that's really what sports betting has started to do for the sport. But, man, look, let's continue. There's more.
Cheating's bad, okay?
It is.
There are a lot of stories about it. There's one that cropped up. This must have been like 5 years ago, 2019-ish, I think, 4 years ago, where there was this game. It started in LA and then it came to Vegas for a few days, and it was all built around Chauncey Billups. And I had heard about the game, and the person who told me about it was like, "Look, I know the game runners. I'm telling you 100% this game is on the up and up." And I was like, "Well, I know a lot of the people that are involved, and I'm telling you 100% that it is not on the up and up."
Yeah.
The first case, Operation Nothing But Bet, exposed a gambling ring built around professional basketball, where players and associates allegedly used inside information to manipulate prop bets on major sports betting platforms. They placed wagers on unders on players to score less, rebound less, assist less, using information that was not yet public. In some instances, players altered their performance or took themselves out of games to make sure that those bets paid out. One example occurred on March 23rd, 2023 in Charlotte. Terry Rozier, an NBA player now with the Miami Heat, but at the time playing for the Hornets, allegedly let others close to him know that he planned to leave the game early with a supposed injury. Using that information, members of the group placed more than $200,000 in wagers on his under statistics. Rozier exited the game after just 9 minutes, and those bets paid out, generating tens of thousands of dollars in profit. The proceeds were later delivered to his home, where the group counted their cash. As the NBA season tips off, his career is already benched, not for injury, but for integrity. As a result of this investigation, 6 defendants, including Rozier, are now facing conspiracy to commit bank and wire fraud.
So the cold thing about Terry Rozier, man, is there's actual film of the moment where he faked the injury. They have so many footprints in the sand that he left behind, whether it's being too boisterous, talking about collecting all his money and different things, puts him in a compromising position, and it really dims a light on the NBA. Chauncey Billups as a sitting coach, man, I'm going to wait to see what comes out, but the feds picked you up, bro. The feds, like this ain't just an NBA investigation. The feds, man, the feds. Now, the thing I'm thinking, though, is who exactly is in bed with who? It's not just this group of players or this. You're finding the stuff at the bottom of the pile right now as far as the hierarchy of this elaborate ring goes. This is just the faces. This is just the known athletes or the known coaches, known former athletes that's been talked about right now. But as they continue to dig and maneuver their way through all this rubble that's left behind from this, I think you're going to see probably some coaches, some assistant coaches, people like that. I mean, I'm not sure who all you gonna see, who's privy to the information that people gonna be out first. Team doctors, right? Trainers, they're working hand in hand. So if they doing their parlays right, who does the injured player have to see? Who has to give the report to the team? It's going to be the team physician, right? So I'm expecting to see some of those people. I'm expecting to see some owners in bed. And this is what I also want to know, like Franzese and all those people, these Colombo crime family, Gambino crime family, all that. I'm interested to see who they were paying off, because I know they weren't just paying off the player. They probably give Terry Rozier a little something, just a little something. But who are they paying at the top to wipe their nose clean? Every time this thing gets a little steam, or they had to know that it was something was coming, or an investigation was nearing. Who are they paying to keep their nose clean in the midst of all this? Now it's in the forefront now, but I'm talking about for the duration of this time that nobody was talking about it. Who are they paying at the top, and who are these people? So you're probably gonna go as far as some front offices, to see who was a part of this elaborate ring. Because I'm gonna tell you, people with money like that, they not just getting in with a few players. You got crooks at the street level, but nothing's worse than those corporate thugs. It's the same game being played by people in suits. And I think we all know that, and this is just coming to the forefront right now. We're seeing what's happening right before our very eyes. The integrity of the NBA is in question, is compromised. We have to get the other players. So this is my thinking. You're going to have to get other players who people see as, or not even just as people see. You got to do your homework and see who else been throwing games. Now, if somebody didn't leave any tea leaves, then hey, they just didn't leave any tea leaves. But everybody that left a little trail in the sand, you're going to have to, it really would help the game if they do like a sweep, and it's a significant amount of people, and not just players, because people are going to look at that as you just getting the pawns. You're not getting the true people of power who allow this to go on. So the NBA got its work cut out for it, man. This is pretty bad. I don't think people recognize how bad this is, but this is pretty nasty stain. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.